My name is Brooklyn, otherwise known as the Dramatic Otaku, and I am in a prison of my own making. The only snack I have is carrot sticks, like a little bunny. Speaking of bunnies, here's a video of a bunny that I took today.
It's a bunny. He's a rabbit.
Now, in the last week, you may have noticed I had a significant upload increase as I had a incident occur. That incident has caused me to upload like 4 or 5 times in 1 week, so that's absurd for me. What it also has done is caused me to have 1 week where I didn't upload, and I didn't want to do that again this week. Originally, this was supposed to be the fashion video from 2 weeks ago, but once again, I'm too lazy to finish editing that because I've had a very busy couple of weeks and I probably should have spaced out my Crunchyroll videos, but I didn't. So here I am. It's the end of September. We're gonna be doing the bi-monthly Otaku Weeb wrap-up, Otaku review, Weeb wrap-up, whichever one I decide to put on this fucking video. So these past couple of months, I've been a little bit flat out, and the number of manga that I've been reading has been manga and anime that I've been reading and watching has been getting less and less and less. You can fully blame the spring season of anime for that one. So once again, one of the 2 months I did not watch any anime. Well, didn't watch any anime in the sense that I didn't finish any anime seasons or watch any anime movies. Well, new ones, that is. I watched Ariete again with my partner. I watched a few things this month that I'd already seen, just, you know, some comfort stuff, but I didn't watch anything particularly new and finish it within August and September. I did start Tokyo Mew Mew, not Tokyo Mew Mew New, Tokyo Mew Mew, and I also did start another because I've been getting more into horror and horror anime and horror manga suggestions. I also really want to get into Jujutsu Kaisen, but with the amount of stuff that is on my plate, it's not getting there fast enough, so yeah. So safe to say, August, I did not watch any anime. So let's go straight to September. I did actually watch some anime in September and finish some anime in September. However, I've been in a bit of a Sonic fan dubs binge, as in I have watched the same Sonic fan dubs for a shamedly long amount of time this month, to the point where I watched it so much that I needed to watch and rewatch these Sonic movies. Now, I'd already seen half of the first Sonic movie and wasn't the most interested by it, but because I'd been watching so much of Snapcube and of the Sonic fandubs shit, I required watching not only the full of the first movie, but the second movie too. So me and my partner rented the movies, mini review of both those movies because we had a little movie marathon, and by that I mean we watched them back to back. They were really fun. I will say the second one absolutely outshone the first one, and I think that's because the second one is more based in the games than the first one, though I do like the fact that the Sonic the Hedgehog series in film, while touching on the original games, is doing its own thing, which I really like. It's obviously for a kid audience. It's doing that, like, it's kind of doing Looney Tunes back in action in a way, where they had Brendan Fraser and Bugs Bunny, except this time it's, what's his fucking face? James Marsden and Sonic the Hedgehog. At least that's what the first movie was. Honestly, it was kind of boring. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman is probably the most perfect choice that they could have ever made. And it's a movie series that surprisingly suits him a lot. Like, the way it's shot, it feels like it's a B movie with A-grade actors. Like, not necessarily the storyline and all that, but just the way that it's filmed and the concept. Like, I grew up watching a lot of, like, those E.T. Phone Home rip-offs, like, Echo. Echo, to my knowledge, didn't come out in any cinemas in Australia. They just shoved it on TV, and like that one's really high quality and it's more found footage than anything else. But like, what was the one? Monster in My Car or some shit like that. That one actually we saw in cinemas. It was actual garbage. It's shot like one of those movies, you know? A bunch of kids find an alien, in this case Sonic, and they go on an adventure and a road trip to try and save the alien, Sonic. It was a little bit of a juxtaposition between that and the second movie, where the second movie was actually pretty fucking epic and actually touched on the game and the real lore of the actual characters. So this is like a really interesting series in my mind. Like, it's enjoyable, but genuinely the first movie gave me too much of that B grade, find in a bargain bin $5 movie where it's a kid finding an alien or a monster and going on a road trip and having that like Looney Tunes back in action road trip type feel. That's what the first movie was. The end of the first movie is actually quite interesting and I really liked it. I regret not watching it the first time through, but you know. The second movie, really enjoyed. Having Idris Elba as Knuckles was a very good choice because it's just funny hearing him say certain words as Knuckles, because Knuckles is like really blunt and he doesn't quite know human like traits and stuff like that. So there's one moment at like the end of the film where he gets really excited about ice cream or something like that, and hearing Idris Elba say that is really fucking funny to me. And like, also the person that they cast as Tails, really, really good choice, because like, I didn't hear that person, I heard Tails. And even half the time, I didn't hear Idris Elba, I heard Knuckles. Granted, I watched Sonic Boom, so the only version of Knuckles I can hear is the really nasally grating one. So, well, that Knuckles and this Knuckles. I'm Knuckles! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Yes, that is my favourite quote from Shadow Goes to Hell. I fucking love it. Moving away from Sonic the Hedgehog, let's actually move into the anime that I watched in September. Now, there's only one to add, as I was going to watch Fruits Basket Prelude this month, or at least I was going to watch the screening of it at Crunchyroll Expo. Obviously, that did not fucking happen. So we can remove Fruits Basket Prelude from my actually watched this month. I don't know when I'll be watching it because the only chance I got to, I couldn't watch it. So the actual thing I watched this month was the last episode of Komi Can't Communicate Season 2. Now, truthfully, I didn't finish the series for two reasons. One, I was super burnt out for watching romance, slice of life anime at the end of like July and really wanted a break. Right around that time, Komi-san was releasing its last episodes and I was keeping up to date with it. However, I was like, I'll wait until all the episodes come out. Come September, it turns out I really should have just waited one extra week because the last episode had come out and I didn't fucking realize. So I watched the final episode of Komi-san Can't Communicate today and it was good. Honestly, I'm really burnt out of slice of life romance anime. I would prefer just heavy rom-com anime at this point. It is really annoying that I could have finished the series in July or August and decided to wait until September to do it, but you live and you learn. At this point in the series, I give Komi-san about like a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 7, mainly because I am so heavily burnt out of romance and slice of life anime that probably next year I will just go for the things that really interest me. Hello, I'm here, queer. Ned from Try Guys cheated on his wife for over a year, and I have a few last minute entries for September. So, starting off with not manga, anime. For anime for September, the last little insert that I have for September is Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. Yes, I actually got to watch this film with my friend. It is very cute and artsy. I will say the art style definitely caught my eye and made me want to watch the entire thing. Personally, the actual story itself did not grip me in until halfway through, which I guess is good considering the art style is very like in your face, so having it be a little bit dull but have you appreciate the art style at first is pretty good, whereas when you get used to it, so the art style isn't as in your face, having the actual story ramp up and be there is really good. Personally, I actually really liked that. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop personally is, I want to say, better than Bubble, in my own humble opinion. I do want to compare it to Bubble because they're both Netflix originals. So Bubble was very stale personally for the storyline, whereas Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop really shot off in the second half. The ending was a little bit predictable, especially with them trying to find Yamazakura. I did, honestly to God, I did enjoy the confession scene at the end. However, I would have liked them to actually show the development of the characters, as in their relationship throughout the entire thing, not just bits and pieces. It was a little bit annoying having them just suddenly like each other. That's something that Bubble did as well. It really didn't show off a relationship. It was like, oh, these people are interested in each other, now they're in love, now they have to forced to be apart. That's sort of the thing with Bubble and Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop that frustrates me. It's a lot of montage and not enough actual connection between the characters. It feels too quick. The concepts, their specific concepts, work really well as a series, not so much a movie. Like, especially Bubble. I think Bubble would work really well as a series instead of a movie. But going back to Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, maybe that's why I'm comparing it to Bubble, because it's got Bubble in the name. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, genuinely, I really enjoy the visuals. I think this would make a really nice slice of life anime instead of a anime movie, just because there's so many characters that you don't like get a lot of information of, and they're sort of just there. Like, at the end, all characters have their purpose for the movie, which I think is very good. However, they're just kind of there until they serve their purpose, and it's a little bit off-putting. There's like this huge montage in the middle of the film that I really didn't like. I really liked the oversaturated colors of the film. Genuinely, I think we need more series that are oversaturated instead of undersaturated, because the art style for Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is genuinely really nice, and I adore the color palette that they used. I also like the whole concept of Yamazakura, how there was like only 2 discs ever made, that sort of stuff. I really enjoy that. It was a little bit predictable when, because there was so much, my eyes honed in on the second disc immediately, so I guessed the ending. Personally, I would kind of give this series a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, just because I'm not too fond of it, but it is genuinely very visually appeasing, and the ending is quite sweet, and I did like the ending a lot. Anyway, moving on to manga. Did read, quite a bit of manga in these last 2 months. More so, I read half a series in the first month, that being in August, and that series being Until Your Bones Rot volumes 1 through 5. Now, I got the ebooks of this manga on Humble Bundle. I got the first 5 volumes of Until Your Bones Rot. To my knowledge, there are 7 volumes and it's continuously ongoing. So I blasted through the first 5 volumes of this series. This one is kind of a middle ground kind of horror series. So Until Your Bones Rot is a like horror gore series and a mystery series. This one, compared to a lot of the other horror mysteries that I've read, is kind of mid. But like, it isn't bad, it just feels a bit yes and. So it's not great, but it's not boring, and I will give a true warning that this book series mentions SA, pedophilia, and suicide onto the already gory elements of murder and death that this book title suggests. Long story short, 5 friends murder one of the friend's dad. Every year they have a ritual where they promise to never tell anyone and have always been honest. 5 years after the father's initial murder, someone finds out their secret and decides to blackmail them. The mystery assailant sends the friends into a confusing and traumatic world of dismembering bodies, second-guessing one another, and trying to discover who their entrapper is. Honestly, this series was way too yes and for me. Now, it's not on the same level as Green World, which I mentioned in my last bi-monthly Weeb wrap-up. This is several pegs down from the yes and that Green Worlds was, and the reason being is because it is technically more of a mystery than Green Worlds was, but it does the yes and thing in a really annoying way that makes the mystery feel cheap. Because unlike a series that leaves hints hanging in front of your face and you really don't realize it until it neatly ties together at the end, this feels really, really janky and just a really unclean version of that trope. Like, the best way I can describe it, which some people are gonna fucking hate me saying this, but I think a really good way that this is done is in Attack on Titan. The hints are right in front of your face as to what's gonna be happening next. It's a little bit in the character design. There are hints in the backgrounds that you don't see and don't realize until much later in the book. It neatly ties together, and it's very, very good at doing so. Until Your Bones Rot does it in a really, really awkward way that is not cohesive, nor does it feel like it's tying up in a knot very well. And the way that it does this is because it feels like there are arcs to the mystery. Personally, in any mystery murder media, there should not be arcs to the mystery. That's where the yes and comes to it. Sure, there should be like plot points that like lead into this and then this and then this and then this, but it feels too much like there are big arcs that can be clearly chunked out in this one mystery that feels like it should just be one and done. Mystery murder media with arcs is something that I actually dislike of my favorite anime, Hikashi no Eden, as the anime feels like one arc with films being the second arc. However, that anime has a connecting thread that is not separate from the mystery, and that's your entrancement with the characters. Until Your Bones Rot does not have that clean connecting thread, and the main villain kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, he's there in flashbacks, but he is not a central character whatsoever, and we do not have a connection to him until volume 5. That's 5 volumes into the fucking series. That's really disengaging for this series, to be quite honest. And then Shin, the main character, is outlandishly smart and connects things really stupidly easily, and I'm wondering how. And here's the thing. I like mysteries where you can theorize what's happening. Some of my theories were correct, some were incorrect. But then something new was brought into the plot that probably should have been brought in chapters way earlier. Or better hinted at, because that thing that's just been brought in spins the story in a completely new direction. And just oh so suddenly does Shin reveal that he knew that this thing had happened by flat out telling us in one big info dump. There's no subtlety climbing into this. It's really just a plot relevance, like plot armor times 10, shit like that. Like, we as the reader legitimately could have never figured out what the fuck was going to happen in this book. And it's not in an enjoyable, satisfying, oh, I didn't think about that kind of way. It's a, I did not know this character existed and that this ever happened kind of way. Then there's this B-plot with one of the characters' cop older sister and her superior. I literally have no clue where this is going unless he's the actual villain of the story. But then why the fuck would he be the villain? There is absolutely no motive that has been hinted at all, except the fact he is weird. Definitely not going to recommend. There's 2 more volumes of this and it's still ongoing. I'm not sure that I'm even going to keep reading this series, so I personally wouldn't recommend this. It is a very flat series for me. You may enjoy it, but personally I do not. It feels really dull and really janky as a horror series. So moving into September, here is a tired filled rant on my opinion on Blue Flag. It is 2 in the morning and I have just finished all of Blue Flag. I've been reading it for the past 2 days, maybe even 3 days, but I read the entire series within 3 days, and I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Okay, I'm not too hot on the ending. Like, I love it, but I also don't love it at the same time. I will be spoiling the entire series in this one video. So if you don't want the Blue Flag section, go to the next section. I really have mixed feelings on the fucking ending. So the way that they constructed the last chapter, fantastic. How it's from Toma's point of view, I fucking love that. But like, dude, okay. So the part where Futaba and Taichi break up, that makes sense to me, obviously, because they're like high school sweethearts. They go to different schools, possibly in the future. It makes a lot of sense. Like, not all high school, if any high school romances last. It makes sense. It's honestly one of the most honest manga anime endings that there is, right? Very realistic. I like that aspect. I like that they also kept up that they're all friends at the end of the story. I also like how the very final chapter makes you think that you're Taichi at first, that you're seeing through Taichi's point of view. The major thing, obviously, that gives it away is Futaba going, I still look up to you, you know? The thing that I did not fucking pick up on is that it did in fact say Ichinose. Toma! Ichinose. Okay, so yes, my gay little heart fucking loves it that Taichi and Toma get together. Fucking love that. Also a little bit mad because they do hint at Taichi having feelings for Toma throughout the entire series. And I love, so backtracking here, I love kind of that there's 2 bisexual characters. Bisexual in heavy quotation marks. Very clearly Taichi is bisexual, or he is some form of multisexual, and that is because he clearly has romantic feelings for Futaba. He clearly has attraction to Futaba. He also clearly, with the ending, is fucking married to Toma. Best of both worlds, clearly. Futaba is straight, so clear as day. I would have really liked if they had put Mireille, I think her name's Mireille. I think she's a lesbian or bisexual. She's definitely a woman-loving woman, obviously, because she's fucking in love with Futaba, her best friend. But like, I don't know if she chose to marry a guy because she's hiding the fact that she still very much likes women, or because she's genuinely attracted to the guy, because she likes, like, it's shown that she likes guys in a friendly kind of way, and that she wishes she could, like, be in love with guys, but Futaba, instead, she likes girls. So, which, again, is actually something that unfortunately is kind of realistic. Oh, Masumi. Fucking name's Masumi. As you can tell, I am very happy Toma and Taichi, it is Taichi, got together and are married. However, it does kind of feel like it came out of nowhere, especially with how much, like, it felt like that it was gonna go with Taichi being just Toma's best friend, and I actually probably would have preferred it. That being said, if you want that kind of ending, read That Blue Sky Feeling, which I've recommended in the past. This is like, Blue Flag is honestly very, very good manga, very, very good queer manga. It can be possibly triggering to some people. They do have one conversation, and like I see every point mentioned in that conversation, but it's also like there is possibly triggering content in this series, so I would be wary with that, especially around the way that Toma unfortunately comes out to the entire school when he was only trying to come out to one person, which is very, very unfortunate, but it can be extremely triggering to some people. I think so. I, for the most part, really fucking like this series. Like, it is so fucking good. So fucking good. And yeah, the thing I was saying before about Masumi, and unfortunately the thing that happened to her being possibly very realistic, because she never comes out openly to anyone other than like Toma, who Toma wouldn't really know exactly what her sexual orientation is. The only person whose sexual orientation is really explained is Toma. Taichi, very clearly bisexual, multisexual, some form of multisexuality, most probably bisexual. Then obviously Futaba, straight, possibly trans, or possibly genderqueer. That was the vibe I was getting off of Futaba. She's very, very much like trans non-binary. That's the vibe I'm getting off of Futaba. I like her. I like her a lot. I do see a lot of myself in her. And I will be using she, her pronouns, because that's the pronouns that she uses in the series. But like the vibe her and Toma have, it feels very much like she's some form of genderqueer, which I really, really like. I like the slight exploration of gender. I also really like the diversion of expectation, how one of the characters, the other girl, the girl who you think is going to be the bad guy, but just wants friends, I fucking felt that. And I love her. But yes, so back to Masumi. I actually like her ending because it makes a lot of sense for her character, because she doesn't come out, she very much keeps to herself, and it is a different side to people who are queer who stay in the closet. I could be missing textual information. It is 2 a.m. She could have come out to her husband, and that's what her husband was talking about in his little section, but she gets a husband and she seems decently happy with him, which good, but like I don't know if it means that she's bisexual or if it means that she is a closeted lesbian. I don't know what that means. Definitely some form of I like girls. Clearly, that is a thing with her. That is a plot arc for her. She likes women. She likes Futaba. She feels inadequate because she feels weird, because she likes girls and she doesn't see it as normal. So she doesn't come out in the series, but obviously we as a reader know that she's gay. I somewhat like that. I would have liked if she did end up with a girl, but unfortunately that's not what happened for her. It seemed more realistic for someone who's so scared of what people think of her, even though she says she doesn't care what other people think of her. She clearly does. So it makes a whole lot of fucking sense for her character for that to happen. That's why I like that ending for her. Would I have liked her to get with a woman? Of fucking course I would. But it could be a case where she will not love any other woman except for Futaba, and obviously Futaba gets married to a man in the end that isn't Taichi. Now, I know that throughout the entire series we see Taichi get like jealous of both Futaba and Toma for various reasons. Like he's jealous at first of Futaba for being like attracted to Toma, or that's what it came off to me as. He was very jealous of Futaba, but as he got into a relationship with Futaba and actually like developed feelings for her, he would be jealous when Futaba was with Toma, or at least that's how it was perceived, right? However, with the way that they ended most of the main storyline before the time skips, it made it seem like that Taichi was straight and that he was going to be a supporting figure for Toma. I think I would have preferred that ending, I'm not going to lie. Again, this may just be my bias because of that blue sky feeling, because that blue sky feeling had that ambiguous ending where it was like, is this a love confession or is this they're just gonna stay friends? You don't know, it's up in the air. I would have liked to think that they stayed friends, eventually turning into romance. I guess that's what this is. This is technically that idealized, that blue sky feeling thing for me, right? It's ironic that they both have blue in the name. But I guess it really brings out that maybe I wouldn't have liked that preferred ending that I thought of in my head for that blue sky feeling after all. Yes, Taichi and Toma being husbands is... I love it. I do fucking love it, and I adore it, and it's great, and it's so gay, and I love it. But the way that it was executed, I think they could have pushed a little more that Taichi was like experiencing this like nervousness because he did have feelings for Toma, that he has confirmation that he has feelings for Toma. What they portray it as is, I want to stay as your best fucking friend. I want to support you as your best fucking friend. I would have liked if they had stayed best fucking friends, not gonna lie. Though, yes, the reveal that Taichi and Toma get together. I love it. That may just be because, like, gay little heart wants gays in a gay book. If I was gonna recommend this, which I 100% do, again, there is a few, like, trigger warnings that I would have for this series. That mainly being homophobia, really, and fighting because of homophobia, so being attacked for being gay. That, also a mention of molestation. That as well, mention of sexual assault. That is also in the book. It is a kind of one-off thing, but like, it's there. Also death, because they had to give one of the people a tragic backstory. Anyway, I would absolutely recommend the series. This genuinely seems like a perfect mix of My Love Mix-Up and Al Haru Died. So I'd say Blue Flag is like the perfect mix of Al Haru Died, My Love Mix-Up, and probably that Blue Sky feeling as well. Obviously, two of those are gay. But yeah, I absolutely fucking adore also the art style, just like how it has these really nice detailed drawings and then the funny little like cartoony drawings. I love it. I love it so much, and I very much recommend the series. So if you want to read the series, I very much recommend. I was very disappointed by the ending, though, I will say. Okay, I wasn't, I was a little bit, I was only a little bit disappointed. Only a little bit disappointed. Because they go,
I suck his dick with a smile for hours at a time.
welcome back. We are talking about the last two manga series that I read. Obviously, I've also been reading the Kaguya-sama chapters, so I'm gonna spoil the last couple of chapters. Please just skip this section if you don't want spoilers for these chapters. I've been reading chapters 270 to 275. we're getting into the final part of the series. This is the last couple of chapters. And I believe we might have like 6 or 7 left. I haven't been keeping count. I think it's around that many left. We've seen the final chapter of Kei Shiragane, the final chapters of Nagisa and her boyfriend. We've also, I think, seen the last chapter of Maki, though I'm not sure. I wouldn't be mad if a spin-off series came from Maki, but I don't know. They did have a little leave off that Maki's story had ended. Also, they had a little hinting that there was someone new coming into Maki's life, and I was very, very happy with that. But like, we've seen the end of that sort of arc there, and I actually really like how Maki and Nagisa's arc ended, with Maki going, no, fuck you, don't break up with your boyfriend because I like him. Stay with your fucking boyfriend. And then Nagisa's pregnant. We also see our lovely bitch Miko become the president of the student council, or the next president of the student council, should I say. We see the last chapter of her friend, or the last chapter of her friend's arc, should I say. The next couple of chapters should just be Miko, Ishigami, Kaguya, and Chika. I could be missing someone. I don't think I am. Probably some members of the probably the newspaper club, so that they may have their last chapter in these last couple of chapters. I reckon that might be happening. But other than that, the last 6 chapters I reckon are just going to be solely around the student council. That's why they end all the other characters' chapters first. Hayasaka. They're gonna have one last chapter with Hayasaka. That's the character that I was fucking forgetting. But those are my theories for the next couple of chapters. I haven't read them yet. I've only gotten up to 275. And I'm very excited for these last couple of chapters of Kaguya-sama Lover's War. Now on to the last actual series that I read that I actually kind of enjoyed, which was Candy Flurry. Now I read this on Shonen Jump because it was just there and I kind of wanted to read something like while waiting for the new release of the next Spy Family chapter. I have also been reading Spy Family, but because I'm doing week by week reading each and every new chapter, I don't really want to recycle using Spy Family every month, so yeah. But I read Candy Flurry. Now, Candy Flurry is a short comedy action series clocking in at only 19 chapters, so this is roughly 2 or 3 volumes. This sweet treat of a comedy series is actually very enjoyable, pun intended. Personally, this series does feel a little rushed, sugar rushed if you will, and I think it could make a very good long-form comedy series. Our MC is known as a lollipop candy user or sweets user, a person who has a supernatural power to control sweets on a will due to consuming a toy candy, which I thought was a joy candy until the actual little text said toy. So apparently it's called a toy candy, a genetically engineered candy to give those powers. Every candy user is unique with their own unique sweet, except when MC is framed for fucking destroying Tokyo with lollipops because they are the only lollipop user, and she needs to fight her way to prove her innocence. I really like this series mainly because of the subversion of serious moments. This is like fully comedy, heavy comedy based. The really like professional people are really incompetent but in a funny way. Like they're really good, but in their ordinary lives, they're fucking incompetent and shit, and it's really funny. And the thing is, the subversion of serious moments happens a lot, and with that, it is kind of a double-edged sword. I know some of you guys really won't like that, and some of you will. I would sort of compare it to an extremely rushed version of One Punch Man, except One Punch Man actually has super serious moments between certain characters. None of the moments in this series is serious. If you do like One Punch Man, I would actually kind of recommend this, though it is a like much more, I want to say this is more like shoujo-esque than a solid shonen. I guess this is a shoujo-esque type of shonen story, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would recommend this. It's pretty funny. I enjoyed it. Smashed it out in half an hour. It was really good. It is on the Shonen app if you want to like read it really quickly. It's a bit of a one-shot type piece. And yeah, I kind of wish it was longer. I think it would have run a lot smoother if it was longer, but clocking in at only 19 chapters, it is pretty good for what it's worth. Love Me Not, the final volume, volume 12. This should have fucking ended at volume 15? What? This should have fucking ended at volume 11. I have said this for months now. I was not happy that there was a 12th volume coming out. I finally have the entire series. However, I think I'm just gonna hold on to this for like 3 months and then gift the entire series to my best friend for Christmas or something. My best friend introduced me to Al Ride, who is by the same author. So I think my bestie will like at least the first half of the fucking series. And I'll just give him the full set, methinks. But I'll hold on to it for 3 months. This volume did not need to exist. Like, I was sitting there the entire time reading this going, when will it end? There's just unneeded drama in this book. Really, genuinely, I think it should have ended in volume 11. There's just... all this volume is unneeded drama to try and tie up the series, when in reality you could have just replaced the one ongoing chapter with an epilogue, and I think it would have worked out fine. For the series as a whole, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, mainly because it starts off fantastic. It starts off amazing. Almost exactly the same, not exactly the same, but almost in the same vein as Al Ride, with the like energy. Halfway through the series, that energy just drops. Everyone that I've talked to who reads Love Me Not has had the same sort of experience with this series. They sort of dropped off after volume 6, I think, which is genuinely halfway through the series, right after Yuno and Rio get together. The rest of the series is surrounded by Akari and Kazu, which, like, I understand, but because our main protagonist of the series is like together with who they wanted to be together, it sort of drifts a bit. And yeah, in volume 11, everything kind of wraps up. Thus, we did not need volume 12. Now, I did buy volume 12 because I collector's brain. I needed the full series. Yeah, once again, I'm gonna probably have this series as it's full for about 3 months before I either give it to my... I would give this a 6 out of 10 just because of the latter half of the series being quite underwhelming and disappointing, as most people have noted. But yeah, that's my take on Love Me Not. It starts out with a bang, sort of whittles down to the end of the series, but it is kind of sweet. If I wasn't really fucking frustrated because this volume personally shouldn't have existed. So yeah, that is my finale on Love Me Not. But yeah, so that's all of the manga and anime that I've read in September and August and September, if you will. Hopefully by the time November comes, I have read a lot more and watched a lot more. The second part to Spy Family comes out in Thing. Chainsaw Man also comes out in fall, so I will hopefully be able to watch that. I will be watching My Hero Academia Season 6, mainly because I'll be watching that with my partner. Urusei Yatsura. Urusei Yatsura also comes out, and I will definitely 100% be watching Urusei Yatsura. I think those are the main 4 that I will be watching in October and November, though I cannot guarantee that I will watch Chainsaw Man. Like Spy Family, My Hero are guaranteed I'm going to watch them because I watch My Hero with my partner, and Spy Family is something that I just want to watch by myself, and as well as Urusei Yatsura. I've been getting into Urusei Yatsura. Of course I want to watch Urusei Yatsura. So yeah, so that has been the Weeb wrap up of August and September. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. I upload every Wednesday at 10 AM Australian Eastern. It's been getting progressively harder to do so because of school, because I'm in my final year. So if I don't upload on Wednesdays and instead upload on Fridays at 10 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time, then you know where to look and you'll know where I'll be. Stressed, depressed, but well dressed in a prison of my own fucking making. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you all next week. Bye!